In this week's edition of A Wilder View, our wildlife correspondent Tanner Saul takes a closer look at how scientists are communicating their findings in today's world.
Measure specific levels of antibodies.
Experts will go over the FDA's findings.
The FDA has authorized a new test.
Several coronavirus vaccines are in development.
Getting information, that's important information, out to the public on a regular basis is a positive thing.
With scientists making headlines with new directives related to the pandemic every day, it's more important than ever to have an understanding of basic scientific method. Doug Emlen is a Regents Professor of Evolutionary Biology with the University of Montana.
There's a huge part of society now that doesn't understand science. They don't trust science, and it means that people are starting to disregard the process.
Even before the pandemic began, there were scientists working to make their research more relatable to the general public. But communicating effectively is a complex task and an acquired skill.
And I think the pandemic is like a beacon of hope. I mean, all the solutions are coming from science. So no matter what your politics or where you're coming from, it's like, man, if you want to get out of this, you need a vaccine. Well, where does the vaccine come from? Scientists. Your mom gets sick. How are they getting treated? Where do those treatments come from? Science. It took scientists to figure out how to grapple with this. You want to know where it's coming from? Where did the pandemic come from? Science. You want to know how it's spreading? Which of our interventions methods are working? Science. It's like science, 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 science. Never has our world been more laser focused on research and scientists than right now.
Most scientists are used to writing for other scientists. Emlen's strategy is to translate research by taking the science and making it as direct and as accessible to people as he can.
If nobody understands what you did, you kind of didn't do it. Let's figure out which ideas and which concepts matter the most. And let's figure out how much biology we have to bring in order to tell those stories well.
Throughout his career, he has adjusted his writing and teaching styles countless times based on the critiques of his audience.
You can't get better if you're not willing to listen to people being critical.
He explains that collaboration with other scientists and the public plays a vital role in his work.
There's something special that happens from the connections and from the conversations. And that's actually what makes UM really special. It's that we have a world-class wildlife program and a world-class genetics genomics group and a world-class ecology evolution group. And they all hang out together and drink beers together and collaborate together, and all their students form one big thriving cohort. That's pretty magical.
With the ongoing pandemic, he says University of Montana professors are also learning new ways to effectively teach science.
So the Zoom reality and the pandemic forced us out of our comfort zones, made us grapple with technology. You need that kind of tolerant, permissive, exciting place, mental space, before people are really willing to push the envelope. And it's only when they push the envelope that really exciting things happen.
In Missoula, Tanner Saul, MTN News.
Really interesting stuff there. It's interesting to look at education as a whole and how they've had to adapt to the pandemic, and then also to break it down subject by subject, because you would think it would be a little bit different. And as we see here, it is for the science department at least.
Well, no question about it. And I keep looking for positives coming out of the pandemic. One of the things we've seen is a lot more people going into the healthcare industry, and I would imagine we're going to see more people going into the science industry with different ideas and exchange of thoughts. So maybe we'll get something positive out of that.
Absolutely.
So also, it's nice when they can take, and it's a difficult subject matter, and kind of like, okay, we're going to try to explain it to you and break it down and make it easy for you to understand. I always appreciate that as well.